I've participated in the Inktober challenge for a couple of years now, and while I only managed to finish it once, I think I benefited from it every time. 2019, I posted a video every day for Inktober, so my main goal that year was to get better or quicker at editing. I remember that I also was intimidated by brush pens at one point. I loved the lines they created, but I had little control over the pen itself. So using Inktober to practice with a specific pen style was my goal for that year. I'm not entirely sure which year that was, and I just can't bring myself to watch my older videos. I think that whenever I used Inktober as a tool or vehicle to work towards my own personal goal, it was an accomplishment, even though I might have not realized it at the time and I was crushed for not finishing the challenge itself. This approach has worked for me, and if you are struggling with participating or completing art challenges, maybe it's something to keep in mind. I like using this energy and buzz on social media to motivate myself and keep going. But I think the art challenge itself, so completing it and staying within their guidelines or rules, doesn't really have that much of a pull for me. This year I'm using Inktober once again as my vehicle or stepping stone to work towards my own personal goals. And my goals are draw every day, finish 2 ink drawings in 1 week, and upload a YouTube video once a week. I think they are achievable. I'm not really worried about the draw every day bit, but finishing 2 ink drawings is a little challenging. My process is often more tedious and frustrating than it really has to be, and this challenge is supposed to help me to let go better. At a certain point, I'll have to stop redrawing and correcting my sketch and just start inking it. And I think uploading a YouTube video once a week is also part of my letting go problem. If I'm too fixated on getting something right and redoing it over and over again, then I will have less time to edit once the drawings are done. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what happened this week. Okay, so let's start with a sketch. I'm doing 2 prompts every week and I sketched out some rough ideas. These 2 are the sketches for the first week. And if you saw my first Inktober post on Instagram, then you can probably already tell that my sketch for Dream doesn't look much like the finished drawing. In my last video, I already talked a bit about my plans for Inktober, and I can remember saying something like, I don't think I'm gonna have the luxury to rethink, reimagine, and overthink all of my ideas. Yeah, that was really stupid of me because I actually do have the time, and if I hadn't stubbornly tried to make the sketch work, even though I didn't like it, even though I noticed pretty soon that this isn't going anywhere, then I wouldn't have wasted 2 full days on drawing and redrawing and in the end starting from scratch, and it was a really frustrating start.
Wollen wir Pipi machen gehen? Das regnet gerade nicht.
Oh yeah. With the sketch mostly done, I was already in a much better headspace. These Inktober sets were sent to me by Kuretake. They kindly asked me to work with them and I provided the drawings for these sets. I like the variation in pens, but I will be using mainly 2. I don't want this to come off as an ad. I mean, I know it kinda is, because I got a lot of products from them for free and I worked with them in the past, but I always feel a little weird whenever I talk about products that I didn't pay for, but I like using. So just a quick reminder that you don't need any specific pen or paint or paper to create. I am very easily influenced by people online. Whenever I see somebody using something I haven't tried yet, my first impulse is to immediately buy it. Especially when it's an artist I admire. But I've gotten a lot better at controlling that impulse and reminding myself that actually I don't need it, I just want it. I'll be using mainly the brush pen number 22 and the Fudegogochi. I've been using them for a while now and I feel comfortable with them. I like to have 2 of the brush pens so I can let one of them dry out a bit. The lines are a lot more soft and light when it's dry. The Fudegogochi has a hard tip that's a little flexible, so I can get some line variation with it, but I mostly use it for the lines that I want to be a little more thick. I started out with the border to warm up a bit. It's the least intimidating part for me, so I like to work on something I'm not too worried about in the beginning. Usually I would take off the washi tape as the last step, but it really serves no purpose here. I only put it on so it was easier for me to align my sketch correctly to the paper before I traced it. Now that I lined so much of the border and there is no going back and changing things, it's pretty much useless. I used the dried out brush pen for the face. I like the softness this creates. It's also a lot less intimidating to use than a super juicy brush pen. And then it happened. A tiny bit of fluff got stuck on my brush pen, and as I was removing it, it landed right on her face. I know that this tiny dot would have haunted me for the rest of the day, so it had to go. First, I had to make sure that I could cover it up gently. I didn't want to swap a tiny black dot for a just as visible white dot. But the operation was successful. After I handled that horrific situation, I moved on to the hair and stayed there for a long, long time. Working on the second sketch was so much easier than the first one. It basically drew itself. I didn't have any major hiccups or felt any frustration. The only problem I had was time, because the first sketch was such a struggle. I only started working on this sketch Friday morning. It is Sunday afternoon as I'm recording this, and I just finished my second Inktober piece, which means I have a couple of hours to pull an entire YouTube video out of my butt. Yay! I often get asked about my inspiration and if there was anything specific that helped me to come up with an idea. In this case, with both of the drawings, there was nothing specific, but I am currently enjoying old woodcut prints, alchemical art, and Russian fairy tale illustrations. Hello, babies. Okay, it is now Monday morning. Obviously, I didn't manage to upload my video yesterday evening. I was done with the video, like I edited everything by 10. Technically, I still could have uploaded it, but I realized that I forgot to film any kind of outro, final thoughts. Like I didn't even film these two finished. And by 10 my brain was already so mushy, I just didn't have it in me anymore to do this final thoughts bit. Yeah, so first week was already not great. I am a little annoyed with myself that I didn't manage to upload the video on the weekend. I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to start my week off being super negative and already feeling like a failure. I'm gonna take what I've learned in this week and hopefully be able to apply it. So this week is going to be a little less stressful. So I think I already talked about this in my voiceover, that it all started going wrong with this. I mean, not this, but with this sketch. So this is a printed out Procreate sketch. And I couldn't find my pencil sketch for it because I already traced it and started reworking it a couple of times. I think I must have tossed them. But I think, so the reason why I pretty early on realized that I didn't like this is because these two were so similar, just by the pose. And I didn't really notice it in my rough sketch, only when I started to work on this. And it kind of felt pointless because it felt like I was basically doing the same thing. So I should have just trusted my gut and abandoned this, because this one worked out a lot better. I think they look really nice side by side, and they aren't like the same thing basically. And working on this was also a lot less frustrating, probably because I wasn't like already resenting it as I was working on it. Once I've started working on this and once I finished this, actually, I felt already a lot better. The only thing that I was really worried about was the time. And I knew from the start that this is going to be my biggest issue, just the time management. But I think that these two look really nice. I really like them. I mean, of course, there are some tiny things that I could have changed and done a better job of, like this border. I think you can see that on the sketch it's a little more intricate, it's a little more interesting maybe. So I've tried to simplify it a bit because I was running out of time and I had to cut some corners. Also, I really could have spent a bit more time on his face. It kind of looks half done, if I'm being honest. But yeah, these things I can definitely live with. Overall, I really like them. I think I already mentioned in my voiceover that my current inspirations are woodcuts, alchemical art, and Russian fairy tale illustrations. And if you Google these things, then I think you are going to be able to definitely see that this is what inspires this. Every year I want to make my Inktober pieces cohesive, and I mean they are already kind of cohesive because I did them, so you can obviously tell that both of these are done by me. But just beyond that, I like to have a kind of theme, style, vibe to my Inktober stuff, and so far it worked, and I'm still excited to do Inktober. I'm still excited to do these videos, even though my first week was really rough. I'm definitely still motivated to make this week a lot better. And hopefully with better art, hopefully with a better video and a better mindset. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't think I have any more to say. I'm gonna add this clip to the video and start working on the next piece. Bye.